Guys, fasten your seatbelts because Mars and Uranus are about to meet up in the sky. Of course, the energy is already very noticeable within the collective and when you look around. And of course, it's gonna linger a little bit after the peak, which is gonna be this weekend. So I want to give you guys a little heads up about where this energy is gonna take place in your own natal chart. We're also going to look over some of the more collective implications that this transit is going to bring. And I think we can all kind of feel it. There's like something shifting within the atmosphere, and definitely it can be very intellectual. Your mind can feel like it's on fire because Mars tends to bring a lot of energy, and Mars is going to inject its energy into Uranus. So, Uranus and Mars, they are going to fuse up in the sky. Now, of course, Uranus, that can be about disruption, but also breakthroughs. When we look back at historic cycles, they too tend to bring a little bit more of chaotic, disruptive energy in the sky. So be a little bit mindful. Also, if you need to drive somewhere, or if you feel like you're super, super busy, do not hurry up. Because when we're going to hurry in the next couple of days, that is exactly when the more chaotic disruptive energy of Uranus is going to get triggered. So welcome back everyone. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And of course, if you let me know in the comments, because especially if you are Virgo rising, Pisces rising, if you are a Gemini rising, Aquarius rising, and also actually Scorpio and Aries rising. There are a lot of signs implicated by this energy, you guys, because of course it happens in the sign of Gemini. So Gemini, especially Sun, Moon, but especially rising, is going to feel this massively. Then of course Mars, Scorpio, and Aries, you guys' ruler, is meeting up with Uranus, the planet of awakening, disruption, and liberation. But then, of course, we also got our Aquariuses. Your chart ruler Uranus is going to get into a little bit of a bumpy road when it meets up with Mars now over the weekend. So, welcome back. Let's just dive into this transit. And if you feel a little bit more tired and if you feel a bit overburdened, it's the full moon in Capricorn that is accompanied by the Mercury retrograde. There is a lot of reviewing energy in the sky, and it can be very emotional because it happens in the sign of Cancer, this Mercury retrograde, and it's ruled over by Uranus, which is in Gemini, and now Mars is gonna add so much more energy into the mix. So Uranus, that is always about expect the unexpected. So yeah, we're gonna see some major plot twists. We're gonna see some unexpected curveballs. Definitely friends from the past or people from the past who suddenly just drop into your email box with some shocking, surprising news. Maybe you're gonna have some awakenings that are gonna be sparked by other people. Now, of course, it depends on where this aspect falls in your own natal chart. So grab your own birth chart and let's see where this energy is gonna trigger you. We're gonna do that at the end of this video when I will be looking at the 12 signs. First, let's go over what I've got prepared for you guys today. So, Mars Uranus, oh my god, we're standing on the edge of something significant, you guys. Even if we can't quite put our finger on what it exactly is, we can feel that something's shifting, something's changing, and there is a feeling of restlessness, impatience, unable to sit still. Maybe you're waiting for something to happen. That can be definitely the energy, and impatience is going to be the key word of this upcoming weekend, you guys. It's a very fascinating astrological alignment that happens every 2 years, and it actually ties back to a much larger story that is unfolding because Uranus just newly entered Gemini fully this year. So this is going to be the first Mars-Uranus conjunction that we're seeing since the 1940s. So think back to what happened then. I think we all know what happened then. But within 2 years of time, in June of 2028 and then also June of 2030, we're going to see new Mars-Uranus meetings in the sky. And how interesting that they shut down CERN and the Big Hadron Collider. I like this Mercury retrograde, you guys. I'm a Virgo rising. You guys are going to have to bear with me through this video. I can feel it massively, and it's even aspecting my own natal Mercury this time. Yay. All right, so the Big Hadron Collider. That is like where they're messing up with the timelines in CERN. It's like a facility in Switzerland where they are diving into dark matter stuff, and they are doing a lot of weird stuff. And look at the Mandela effect. And now with CERN closing, there is going to be a shift within timelines for sure. It's also like the facility that is being able to trigger like time, space, reality, vacuums, quantum leaps, all of the weird stuff that is actually ruled over by Uranus. So that is actually very interesting. That is all happening at the same time, and they closed it down on the exact date of Mercury retrograde. Reevaluation happens during a next Mars-Uranus conjunction, and they're going to reopen during another Mars-Uranus conjunction. So this is really like very fascinating for me, very striking. And if you don't know what they're doing there, definitely look up some videos. It's actually very interesting and very fascinated what they're being able to do there, like the whole deep dive into the dark matter and all of that, opening up like weird portals. They're messing with time and space. So the fact that they're doing that on the exact day of the Mercury retrograde, yeah, I have some weird feelings about that for sure. But let's dive into this presentation for today, because like the peak period here will be this weekend. They will be fully conjunct on July 4th, but of course the energy is building right now. So they have been into orb since June 17th. But then on the 28th, it really got like very palpable, because Mars then jumped into Gemini, where Uranus is currently sitting. Then over the weekend, they're going to be fully merging together, and the energy is going to linger all the way up into July 19th. So on July 28th, we have stellar alignments, you guys. July is going to be a pretty awesome month and very unpredictable. It can be about a massive breakthrough in your life. If you have been feeling stuck in the rut or stuck in the mud, then definitely this can also be the energy about breaking free. And I think that is actually very important, and a lot of people really need that. Now, of course, if we look at the planetary implications, then we've got Mars on the left and Uranus on the right. Mars is red, Uranus is more like blue, aqua color. You can definitely work with these colors to be able to channel or integrate this energy, which is actually very important and very rare, because it only happens 2 years. So Mars represents action, courage, survival, and like instinct to move forward. And Mars also rules over our muscles and physical energy. It can also be about like our ability to take action on it. And when Mars becomes like majorly activated, which is the case now with Uranus, life tends to speed up, and we can become more assertive or more competitive, and sometimes, and definitely now, a lot more impatient. So Mars, it doesn't like standing still. He's like the soldier, the pioneer, the entrepreneur, the athlete. He just like goes out and about, goes full force ahead, and just doesn't wait on anyone to catch up with what he's doing. He just like wants to be the first, conquer, move forward. So with Uranus now, there can be like a sudden burst of inspiration and like a triggering of our physical energy right now. So if you're suddenly feeling massively inspired to like renovate your entire house at midnight, then this is the energy that you're dealing with. But be careful, do not take any risks. Be careful of working with machinery, like everything that is either like hot, like heat. Mars rules over heat. Knives, guns, bombs, everything that is sharp. If you need to work with that, then be a little bit more careful over the next couple of days. Also, everything that is toxic or that is being able to explode, you guys, this is quite the explosive aspect. So be a little bit more mindful. I do not want to install fear in the collective. No, quite the opposite. I actually want you guys to be a little bit more aware of how big this implication can be. Yesterday, I did my weekly video, and I was telling also a lot of stuff about it, and that we need to be very careful when we like cook food right now and we use a very big kitchen knife. Be very careful about like not cutting your hands, because Gemini rules over the lungs, but also the arms and the hands. And like my boyfriend was cooking some food, and he like really cut his finger very, very deep. And Like normally I would be shocked and surprised, but now I'm like, yeah, okay, it's just like Uranus that is throwing some chaos into the mix. So be careful with everything that is sharp, you guys. It could go south really quick under this energy, and we're gonna see some more accidents happening over the next couple of days, which is actually already so strongly felt within the collective. What I've been hearing in the last couple of days, even weeks, like even like 10 days ago, I feel like it really like started. A lot of people had some very unexpected things happening, and yeah, some very curveballs that try to like mess up with the stability. So yeah, like I've been bumping my little toe onto like everything the last couple of days, but in my solar return I have a Pisces rising. I need to be a little bit more careful with hurting my feet, because Mars, my ruler as an Aries, is conjunct the rising. So the astrology, there are like many deeper layers, but just be a little bit more mindful of rushing ahead and then ending up in some kind of like minor accident, or like bumping something, like bumping into something. That can definitely be the case, especially on the road, you guys. Gemini rules over being on the road. The exact conjunction happens at 3 degrees. 3 degrees is a Gemini degree, adding more like mental activity and busyness up in the sky. But it also rules over being on the road. We're going to see some very big road rage. Some people are going to road, like, some people are really gonna like channel their frustration onto the road, and they're gonna either speed, drive very recklessly, not be like attentive towards other drivers. We're gonna see some chaos on the road, you guys. So take some extra time if you need to drive somewhere with this Mercury retrograde accompanied with this aspect, tying back or dispositing towards Gemini, where Uranus is right now. Things are a little bit more hectic and chaotic. Gemini, it also rules over things being doubled or multiple choices. So we can feel like we do not have enough time to do all of the things that we need to do, and maybe we need to redo some things. Like that is like mostly the case with Mercury retrograde. We need to like go over stuff again, redo stuff. And with Gemini, we might need to do or redo things multiple times, and that can quite like frustrating here. And people are going to be emotionally explosive, you guys. We have a Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Cancer rules over our emotions, and then whoops, Mars swoops in, conjuncts Uranus, and poof, there can be like a lot of lightning strikes, either within the spoken word, or when you travel, when you are a pedestrian crossing the road, when you're on your bike, when you're simply like calmly driving. My biggest advice would be for you guys to not go driving whenever you feel mad. That is definitely important. And if you need to leave like 15 minutes early, because we are dealing with delays with Mercury retrograde. And if you feel like you're running out of time, then you get frustrated, and that is exactly the moment when Uranus and Mars are going to strike for you. So now Uranus, it also deals about like, yeah, the inventors, the pioneers, but Uranus is also like about innovation and rebellion, and it's also about revolution. The electrical grid is getting like massively under strain or under fire right now. Technology belongs to Uranus. There can be a lot of breakthroughs and even new inventions and technologies that can help us heal and even break free. In the sign of Gemini, can also be about a very big consciousness upgrade, or some new technologies that are getting discovered that are actually going to help us with neurodivergence, and actually also how that's a blessing and how that can actually also lead towards like very big solutions. Think about like the whole frequency warfare that we're in right now as well. Mars Uranus can also inject a lot of passion and energy into like new inventions that can actually help heal our mind and also the collective, because it trines Pluto. So I would not be surprised to see some very big breakthroughs in medicine that is actually connected to the lungs, the arms, the shoulders, the hands, and also like the brain, especially the brain, like neural connections, neurological solutions, neurological breakthroughs. And that can definitely happen. And of course, this is a seed that is getting planted. So this energy is going to play out in like the next 2 years ahead, of course. So yeah, Uranus, it never asks for like permission. It just like throws a curveball or a plot twist into the mix. And he is very much about like lightning and illuminating also a lot of the things that have like previously remained like hidden in the dark, especially now with the trine to Pluto. There is going to be a lot of darkness that is going to get exposed. Uranus is also the planet of truth and freedom. We're going to see some very big truth bombs over the weekend and the next couple of days ahead. Pluto in Aquarius is, of course, also about the tech giants. I think we can also see some problems in the markets that is going to be connected to an AI bubble that is going to burst. I think that is also in the cards, especially for 2026. This can already bring some rumblings within that. It just like cannot keep going the way that it's going right now. And especially next year with the Mars retrograde, we're also going to see some problems in that. Now, of course, Pluto in Aquarius, that is about like very dark, deep stuff that is getting like it's being brought up from under the surface, which is like connected to control and technology and the tech giants and their motivations and their intentions and politics. Dark stuff that is going to get revealed, a lot of truth bombs. We're going to see some very big whistleblowers and leaks, and it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers over the next couple of days. So this is definitely the aspect that I have been like looking to for the next, like for the past couple of months, because I know this can definitely bring a lot of unexpected change and a lot of shocks and surprises, and people can really be baffled. And there is something that can happen in your own life that is like gonna blow your socks off, especially if it's like making an adverse aspect within your own natal chart. So especially look at your own natal chart. Does this conjunction make a square or an opposition or like even a quincunx in your chart? Then it's just a little bit more difficult for you. And then there's definitely things that are going to happen here. So Mars, it fuels the electricity of Uranus here, you guys. And together they always create a very important energy that can be like fast, but also brilliant. There can be like, whoops, like a lightning bulb switching on, and suddenly there is a long-standing problem that gets fixed. But it also brings a lot of unpredictability, and it can be very explosive, which is not necessarily negative, but yeah, like why it's not negative is that the greatest inventions within like human history, they have been happening under a Uranus like transit. So yeah, but the fact is just like if we're like unaware and if our nervous system is so overburdened and so over triggered and we're not listening to our body and we do not like calm it down, then the same energy that is being capable of producing like geniuses can also end up in an accident. So it's also how we like deal and work with this energy. That is why I really want to like warn you guys and make you guys aware, Uranus, about what's happening. So a lot of people are gonna react very impulsively. Others are gonna create like innovation, but the chaos needs to be channeled into like courage and revolutionary ideas. This aspect is gonna trigger a lot of protests, you guys. They're gonna be quite intense with the trine to Pluto and Aquarius, and the moon will also conjunct that on the 2nd, which is tomorrow. So be careful in groups of people. If you want to go to like a protest, to just be a little bit more mindful that it can go south pretty quick. Mars wants to act, and Uranus does not want to be controlled, and people are going to become so extremely sensitive to anything that they perceive as like limiting or restrictive or like authoritarian. All the authoritarian things, wow, they're going to receive a lot of, yeah, there's going to be a lot of like flashback from society. So yeah, this is definitely going to stir some civil unrest, and a lot of ideological debates are going to get triggered under this, definitely connected to AI and how that's trying to control us. There is a greater need for freedom, and that is definitely going to get expressed here, you guys. The shadow side of this is definitely impulsivity. Be careful for recklessness, and the best way to describe this energy is definitely like, imagine that you've been like shaking a bottle of Coca-Cola for like several days, and then suddenly you put in like a Mentos in it, and then suddenly all the pressure beneath the surface builds, and then Mars comes along, it twists the cap open, and then bam, we see like a very big explosion with a lot of foam and a lot of like yeah, disruption. That is a little bit how I look at this energy, you guys. So it is like a form of pressure that has been like accumulating over time, and that is definitely also why this conjunction might surprise us, because for the past couple of days it's been building, 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 and we can all kind of feel something's happening, but it's not really popping just yet. Although I have seen some very big pops in the neighborhood here, and now all of a sudden it like bursts, and all of the underlying causes that have been like bothering you for months or even like in the past 2 years are now like being released here. And it's in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is about communication. It's very intellectual. So people are going to be speaking the truth in a very rebellious kind of way. So now at the highest expression, this combination can also create like new inventions or like new breakthroughs with scientists. Uranus is like the weird, nutty professor. So Mars is injecting energy into that. So very good for revolutionary ideas as well. It also encouraged like this extraordinary inspiration. You can problem solve in a very rapid like pace of time. Technology breakthroughs is definitely also what we're gonna see. And yeah, if you've been waiting for like inspiration, do not be surprised if it like now is gonna arrive within like lightning strikes. It can be very unexpectedly, very out of the blue kind of energy. So but the lower expression of this is definitely Mars rules over accidents, cuts, burns, inflammation. Uranus rules over shock, surprises, sudden disruptions. So they always correlate with very impulsive behavior and like road accidents and electrical failures. Definitely right now with the Mercury retrograde, technological breakdowns, power outages, cyber attacks, cybersecurity issues, and people really acting and reacting before thinking. Yeah, slow down. Definitely behind the wheel. Be very, very careful. Read your email twice before pressing send. I had to do that yesterday evening. I received an email. I received a message from someone, and yeah, I had to put my phone away. And I was like, "No, Aries, keep calm. Keep calm." Oh, yeah, under these energies, we get kind of triggered more easily. And I was ready to go to war yesterday evening, and I was gonna like send a very blunt, abrasive answer, because what was sent to me was really like not okay. But I've managed to keep myself under control. So yes, we are growing, we're getting older, and I hope you guys are gonna be able to say the same, because it's not so easy under this energy. And especially as an Aries, I'm ruled over by Mars, and I was like ready to pop off, but no, I didn't do it. So I'm kind of proud of myself, and I hope we can all tap into the same energy. Do not let the darkness or like the weirdness throw you out of balance, even though that's easier said than done under this energy for sure. So um a lot of people are gonna rage quit something, a relationship, a job, a friendship. Yeah, people are a little bit on edge. So consider it's normal. And um, what can I add? Sometimes we need to be a little bit careful about what I say here on YouTube. But what we're also gonna see with this, now that I'm thinking about it, is that unfortunately this can really trigger like instability within the earth. Also look at what's happening in Venezuela, that is also connected to this conjunction, unfortunately. So extreme weather, the ring of fire, earthquakes, the triggering of the tectonic plates, all of that is also strongly connected to Uranus a lot of the times. So be more mindful. We can see more earthquakes, unfortunately, within the next couple of days. So if you then look at the chart here, I've actually canceled out or blotted out some of the other planets, so it's easier to actually look at the Mars-Uranus conjunction, which is here in Gemini at the bottom of the chart at 3 degrees. So Gemini, of course, also rules over like our language, our writing, learning, teaching, transportation, like trade and business is going to be such a big deal. And we're going to see some disruption within goods being delivered, especially now with the Mercury retrograde as well. Of course, Gemini, it also rules over journalism, striking headlines in the mainstream media. Social media is going to be on fire. Algorithms are going to be going a little bit haywire. And it's definitely having a very big implication on all the invisible networks. Sorry, you guys. All the invisible networks that actually connect this whole modern civilization together. So, of course, in the ancient times, Gemini ruled over like all the messengers that were traveling on their horseback, but now it rules over like the fiber optic cables, the smartphone, the satellites, the internet. That is all part of Gemini and Uranus as well. That is like strongly magnified here. So information is going to move like faster, and it can be hard to catch up with everything. And there's a lot of busyness in the sky, and here, the information of Gemini can get weaponized by Mars. Suddenly, everyone wants to speak, has a very blunt opinion. Everyone believes their perspective or their knowledge needs to be heard. And social media becomes louder. Debates become like increasingly polarized as well. Information becomes like the most valuable form of power and conflict here, you guys. So use it in a conscious kind of way, because Gemini rules over the conscious mind, and it's also about like curiosity and pattern recognition, and also the ability to really connect unrelated pieces of information together. So people are going to experience yeah, accelerated associative thinking under this energy, and ideas are going to get connected way more rapidly than usual, and solutions might also appear very unexpectedly, and a lot of conversation are going to trigger like entire new perspectives in Gemini. So we just need to be careful for like mental overload. And of course, with it being an air sign, air cannot be contained. Try catching like the wind with your hands. That simply does like not work. It slips through your fingers. Information can behave a little bit in the same way right now. And there are definitely going to be very big debates around free speech, censorship, AI, digital platforms, information warfare, that is going to be like increasingly prominent. And there is going to be such a big development with either cybersecurity or AI, and a lot of people are going to be a little bit like baffled by it. Also, like modern neuroscience, Gemini, it shows that novelty and curiosity and all that really stimulates a lot of dopamine. So it is the brain's like primary chemical for feeling rewarded in some kind of way. So together they create a constant desire for stimulation. So people are going to feel more drawn towards like breaking news and endless scrolling and viral content and all of that. But the nervous system, it begins like craving the next surprise. So we need to ground ourselves. We need to spend time in nature. We need to disconnect from technology, maybe better under this energy. So yeah, if you have like 47 tabs open in your browser, or if your phone is like buzzing every 30 seconds, unwind a little bit, because like yeah, be careful under this energy. You can even notice that ChatGPT is being a little bit weird or strange as well, if you're someone who uses that a lot of the time. Now, the fact that it happens at 3 degrees, a Gemini degree, this just like adds so much of the Gemini into this, you guys. It's actually rather striking. We're not going to see this happening anymore. Next conjunction, or was it, no, in 2030 it will be at 19 degrees or 20 degrees. So yeah, it's the only one conjunction of Uranus and Mars together that will be at 3 degrees, you guys. So now it's like super strong. With the Mercury retrograde, oh my God, we're gonna see so much glitches within the matrix, within like our local environment, within like the media, and within how we speak. And of course, it's like so strange because we're gonna also be focused on like who controls the flow of information, and who's like changing it up, or who's making it more disruptive as well. And the algorithms, who controls like the algorithms, and why are certain things being released, why are certain things being massively pushed. And that is definitely gonna be a big one. Yeah, it's like Gemini, it governs over all the electrical like wiring that allows information to travel throughout the body as well. So, and then Mars symbolizes also adrenaline. So a lot of people are, if they're gonna watch like the mainstream media, they're gonna feel this pump. They're gonna feel pumped and ready to like rebel. And that's why, guys, reading all these big major news headline stories, it's a false sense of control, create your dopamine in another kind of way, and channel it into like writing some stuff for yourself, or writing like a letter to your future self and what you want to accomplish and where you want to put your energy into, where you want to break free, where do you want to liberate. Journal about these thoughts. You can feel like your thoughts are going to be on fire and are not going to be able to like contain it. If you're already an overthinker like me, Virgo rising, then you definitely need to stay away from technology over the next couple of days. It can just be like too much, you guys, with this energy. And exercise, movement. Like Mars is about physical activity, and we need to move and we need to be busy with the body. Like the blood needs to flow, and exercise is gonna become like your medicine, and deep breathing is gonna become one of your medicine. Pranayama, grounding, like really watching your breath. And if you're doing the belly breath as well, we need to like drop back into the body, into the belly. Turning off your phone, or like if you're too addicted, do not like watch it immediately from the moment that you wake up, because that already pushes like your adrenaline and your cortisol and all of that, and that is what we need to like really calm down here in the next couple of days. So big one for the US, this, because of course the descendant for the US is in Gemini, so the United States is going to have like a major reveal or disclosure or upheaval in some kind of way. Mars and Uranus, when they came together, that was also like, because I'm going too fast. My mind is racing too fast. How applicable. So if you look at the descendant for the US, that falls into Gemini. The descendant is other people, is open enemies, and also allies. So if you look back throughout American history, when these major activations coincided, that always like was a very like defining conflict that emerged. And look at the American like Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II. That was always when Uranus was in Gemini. And of course, in their natal chart, they have, or like in their natal mundane chart of that country, they have Uranus in the seventh house near the descendant, which resembles open allies, open enemies and allies, Mercury retrograde. And that is getting triggered right now massively. So I think Cuba or some new conflict can get emerged here, or triggered by this aspect. So yeah, we're going to see a very big turning point within that, unfortunately. We then also see that actually, right off the bat, when Mars entered Gemini on the 28th of June, it was squaring the nodes of fate. And like now, this conjunction of Mars and Uranus are both also like triggering the nodes of like destiny. This is a big one, you guys. The fact of Mars and Uranus by itself is already a pretty big deal, but the fact that they're squaring the nodes of fate just adds so much more destined, unpredictable energy into the mix. So the fact that they're bending the nodes of fate, it is like a meeting point between the past and the future. And the south node, that is always like connected to past karma, past lives, or patterns, collective memory of everything that we have already experienced within this lifetime and the past. The North Node is more about like growth, where we need to lean into. That is like our evolutionary process and its destiny, and it's like the direction of life that we need to move towards to. So now we're in the center, Mars Uranus, of like crossroads. It's very important, you guys. Behind this is the past, and in front is like, it's like we are in front of like a stretch into the unknown, and we feel kind of stuck in between. And then Mars is like standing exactly in the middle with Uranus on top of him, and it's like, wow. Um, every decision that we're going to make right now is going to really determine our future road ahead, you guys. So the actions that we're going to take right now under this configuration are actually going to reach far beyond what we initially expect. A single conversation right now can change like a relationship or a friendship forever, or with your job, or with your boss, or your parents, whatever. One courageous decision can alter the course of a career right now. You can have a very big breakthrough moment, and with that also comes like one single announcement from the government. We just had a full moon in Capricorn. It can like reshape an entire like international geopolitical stage here. So it's not an ordinary action moment here. It is a very consequential kind of action portal that is opening up here. So South Node is, of course, in Virgo, and a sign that is ruled over by Mercury. Very fascinating, because Mars and Uranus occupy Gemini, also ruled over by Mercury. So this creates like an overwhelming emphasis on communication and spreading the word, and having a lot of new ideas and having a lot of things to do. The South Node in Virgo can also relate to like new breakthroughs in AI and technology, and with that, seeing massive layoffs within the job market. Virgo rules over the service industry, so the working class. Definitely also like connected to administration and things that can be automated, and that is unfortunately also a very big theme that we're going to see here. But Mars here also squaring the nodes, and Gemini, it is also telling us that every thought, every word, every action, it is creating a very big ripple effect that is going to extend much further than we can see right now, you guys. And if you look at the psychology and the brain waves, our brains, they are wired for survival, not necessarily wired for wisdom. And definitely not if you look around, you guys. So when we look like, when we're triggered, then our amygdala, that is like our emotional alarm center of the brain, that gets like, it activates way more easily before like our rational prefrontal cortex has like fully processed the situation. And I know a lot of you guys who have like an amygdala that is like grown because of a constant survival mode, or fight or flight response. Like our amygdala, it can grow and it can also shrink back to its original like size when we are dealing with trauma. So it's very important, if you struggle with that right now, to also like deal with that and look at how trauma release exercises that you do with the body can actually help you to calm down and balance out your amygdala. Or is it it's amygdala, I think, in English, amygdala. Yeah, so my translation, sometimes my tone is not always correct, but I guess you guys understand what I mean here. So Mars is like stimulating this instinctive response now from the amygdala, and Uranus then adds a lot of shock. So suddenly react before we have reflected, and that is definitely getting like in overdrive right now. So we need to pause 10 seconds before responding. And if you are like a fire sign like me, then it's a little bit more difficult. But it's definitely also going to be more difficult for the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and of course also Pisces. They are creating difficult aspects for you guys. So of course, this one is also actually already like kicking off and triggering the basket formation that is about to be formed here. So the basket formation will get like fully formed whenever Jupiter will also be at 4 degrees. That will happen around the 20th of July. And then we see like Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all aspecting one another, which is going to be pretty big deal, you guys. So buckle up. The entire month of July is actually going to be a month that we're not going to easily forget afterwards. There can be a lot of change, a lot of jumping of the timelines, a lot of unpredictable plot twists that can really, change things up. So, of course, with the trine to Pluto, which I'm going to highlight now a little bit more, is that there is actually, of course, Pluto governs over power and also governments, and they have the information within like society and like these dark occult I'm forgetting the word. Oh, this Mercury retrograde, my god. But it's like secret societies, that was it. Okay, here we got it. My brain is back online. But Pluto deals with all like the darker stuff and secrets and death and rebirth, transformation. All of the hidden information can be brought up, and it can even get leaked through like cybersecurity issues. We can see like a massive data breach that is gonna like bring up all of stuff, you guys. So superficial is not what belongs to Pluto. No, we need to get to the roots and to the bottom of things. And of course, we're going to see some very profound changes in technology and all the digital systems and how that distributes the collective power and how it also affects our social structure. So if we take a specific action right now, it can like suddenly gain like enormous transformative force and power, you guys. So breakthroughs, they're gonna like alter entire systems, and hidden truths, they do not like simply emerge. No, they're gonna like change permanently like the public awareness. There is like a light bulb that is being switched on here. Technology can definitely redefine civilization right now within this moment of time, and definitely around the 20th of July as well. So this is also adding, because it sextiles Neptune, you guys, and also sextiles Jupiter. There is like a major also spiritual and philosophical awakening. There is also like a lot of movements that are going to gain momentum by new insights, by ideology, by a new vision, by being able to zoom out and see like the 40,000 feet view. And we're also going to see very big scientific breakthroughs that are like going to reshape very important industries, and especially also look at what's happening at elementary school. Gemini rules over the younger kids, but especially elementary school. We might see some new technology or AI means or systems being implemented in that. Would not be surprised to see AI robots be teaching kids here. I would also not be surprised to see some school shootings. Unfortunately, I'm gonna like knock on wood that doesn't happen. And we're also gonna see some very important accidents, like major accidents on the road, people driving into big crowds of people, people just like simply losing their mind and becoming very vicious and very shocking. That is unfortunately also part of this energy. So of course, with like all of these outer planets that are going to create this basket formation, like the outer planets, it's going to be like pretty special, and they do not like only they actually do not describe our daily mood or our individuality. No, they actually describe civilization itself. So the moon, it changes every few days. Mercury is now retrograde, re-changing like how we think. Venus then changes relationships, and some important breakups are going to happen because Venus is about to conjunct the south node. Mars changes how we take action. But when Uranus, like Neptune and Pluto, when they are all talking towards each other, entire generations are like feeling the effects, and it's way more global and way bigger, and it's way more operating within like the background of the collective consciousness. So these planetary configurations here, they're gonna they actually represent a force that is much larger than our individual personalities, and they actually can create or describe these massive collective movements that are actually going to reshape society over many years to come. This is a very big seeding moment, you guys, here in July. Neptune in Aries, it awakens our like new ideas, new spiritual movements, new visions of humanity. With Jupiter entering Leo, trining Neptune, we're gonna see some very weird new cult stuff and cult leaders emerge. And we're gonna see even cults seeping through even more like mainstream and more easily visible within the collective, that is tied to like the government or certain world leaders. And it's gonna get a little bit weird, you guys. The philosophical battles and like the imagination and the religion being like fused into leadership with Neptune and Neptune and Aries with Saturn there, the government, and the trine to Jupiter and Leo. Leo rules over like people who take the lead, and like the entire administration in the US is one big Leo administration. We're gonna see some more like new visions, new ideas, new ideologies being or getting like emerged, and we're gonna see some new cult leaders. And I'm like not talking about the US now and specifically, no, because that just like follows and after what I was saying, and I do not want people to misunderstand me. No, I'm talking more like generally we might see some new cult leaders emerge and really taking a very prominent like role in society, and they can really be like on stage. That's gonna be a bit weird, you guys. Then Uranus in Gemini, it kind of like revolutionizes communication, transportation, AI, all types of like information. And then Pluto in Aquarius is like completely restructuring our means of power within the government, within politics, within the deep state, within technology, within like the relationship with like the digital civilization. And all of that is like getting blown up by Jupiter. Jupiter then is saying like let's make all of it bigger, and Jupiter, it doesn't create these events, it expands and amplifies them, and it's gonna grow like pretty big, you guys. This is actually gonna be the start of like a completely new global era, you guys, and then we're gonna see such a fast acceleration and a major restructuring of governments and breakthroughs within like scientific discoveries and rapid technology and innovation within that. And the years 2026 until 2032 are going to be very significant within history, and it's going to lead to some very big reshuffling of the cards within like geopolitics, and the global power shifts that are going to come off of this in July are going to be pretty wild, you guys. So of course, global predictions already like spoke a lot about it, but Mars rules over conflict, Uranus is sudden disruption, so it correlates in history with moments where political tensions can escalate very quickly. And astrology does not cause war, but it's like the energies that come off of it, and it's also like the energy that has been building beneath the surface so suddenly now is going to reach like a very big breaking point. Pressure seeks a release. So one careless leader that is going to announce like some kind of statement can like explode a lot of things. We can see a lot of unexpected cyber attacks. Think about the country in the Middle East. They're probably gonna pull some shit off that is gonna be very shocking. And I'm talking about the country that loves to bomb all of its neighbors. So they're gonna like do something that is gonna be unheard of or unseen. Hopefully I am dead wrong about that, and I actually all cannot use these words on YouTube. I'm shooting myself in the foot again with like saying certain words here, but we might see unalivings, we might see certain things really go south, and they're gonna try to hide it, but they're not gonna be able to. But it's gonna get a little bit out of hand, unfortunately, in the Middle East. We might see one like military incident that creates a very big ripple effect, one diplomatic breakdown that can lead towards like massive rebellious energy. And yeah, so expect the geopolitical surprises, you guys, but remember that Uranus also rules over liberation. So while like one nation or one country might become more aggressive, another population or country might actually be fighting for freedom and be tapping into the more higher expressions of this energy. The entire global stage, it's like not one dimensional, no, it's way deeper than that. And we're gonna see the unrest and the people really rebelling against certain statements as well. Yeah, we might also see something very big connected to quantum computers and a leap within that. Definitely connected also towards what's happening in CERN, and maybe we might also hear something about like autonomous vehicles or like self-driving cars. Some new technology that is connected to satellites or like these brain-computer interfaces, these weird brain chips that they're trying to push on people, drone technology, medical technology, all of that might see a very, very big breakthrough. So also be careful for informational warfare, you guys. Deep fakes, censorship, cybersecurity, digital identity, like yeah, your digital ID and all of that might also see a big push. Mass surveillance, online privacy, data ownership. We can see some big things going on with that. So yeah, protect yourself. Maybe change some passwords. Do like a new way of 2FA authentication and all of that. Very important. But because Gemini also rules over trade, shipping, logistics, transportation, roads, railways, aviation, local commerce, all of that is going to be way more unpredictable. We can see some volatility really around like how goods are being distributed. The global supply chain might get more disrupted. Aviation is going to see some problems. Infrastructure that is connected to the internet might break down. The financial markets are going to swing up and down, and definitely can be also something remarkable with like the space exploration, even though I'm not a NASA cultist believer, no, but all of that might get pushed on us even more fully. So yeah, also unfortunately, I think we're going to see some breakthroughs in robotics that might be quite shocking. Hopefully, this energy is also going to tap into like medical discoveries that are definitely going to help us evolve. So yeah. Now that I'm talking about it, what a beautiful bridge, because the medical astrology is very important here. Gemini rules over the lungs, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, also the collarbones, the upper ribs, and the nervous system. So that is actually a little bit intertwined here, all of that. So Mars then introduces a lot of heat, inflammation, speed, muscular activity. Then Mars introduces the electricity, sudden events, nerve impulses. Together they create like an exceptionally stimulating influence here, you guys. So that is why people are feeling very very restless. There's a lot of restlessness up in the air. People can have difficulty sleeping and unwinding at night. Muscle tension can get sore or stiff. Shoulders and neck can feel like tight. Your nervous system is exhausted. There can be an increased anxiety, rapid breathing. So really try to control the breath. Surges within adrenaline, eye strain from looking at screens too much, and that then all leads to like mental overstimulation. So we need to slow down, calm down the nervous system, and also definitely pay a lot of attention when we use sharp tools. Be careful around everything that is electric. Do not charge your bike at night. If you need to work with machinery, be careful. There are going to be a lot of fireworks on the 4th of July. Be careful not to lose an arm or a finger. And I'm like, not even kidding, you guys. Double check all of your travel plans and technology before leaving the house. Yeah. Calm down. The calmer and the more slow you're gonna do everything, the smoother everything is gonna go for you. So yeah, walk in nature, strength training, breath work, meditation, really also reducing the unnecessary screen time. Journal all of your ideas, take pen and paper. That is going to be very helpful. Read a book that is on paper as well. It's just like way better for the mind. If you feel overheated, do some cold plunges, take some ice baths before you totally explode. Just like, yeah, cool off if you need to. try to have a regular sleeping routine, even though that's going to be a bit more difficult. Do I have another slide? Yeah, I actually should have already put like changed the slide, but that's okay. How to work with it? Yeah, tap into the sudden breakthroughs, sudden new opportunities within your career. There can be unexpected life changes. Be open to change. There is going to be a greater desire for freedom. Maybe you bump into new friendships or collaborations that are going to be helping you fast forward in time and space, and gather information, come together, meet each other in real life, get off of the internet, meet in person, channel the energy by doing some activities together. But be very careful, because there's going to be an higher like potential for accidents to happen when you are rushing, but it can be very profound for like a personal awakening. So stay calm, breath work, channel your thoughts into something constructive, move, walk, bike, hike, connect with nature, get off your phone. That is going to be it's going to be best for you guys. So, with all of that being said, let's start the readings for the 12 signs. And if you do not know your rising sign, you can go to astroseek.com, plug in your birth details, you will get to know your rising sign. So, we'll start with Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have this conjunction of your chart ruler Mars and Uranus in your third house. This is a big one, Aries. Oh my god, be careful about how you deliver certain words, because they can be quite explosive, quite disruptive. Third house is communication, learning, siblings, short distance travel, can also be about technology and the mind itself. And you are likely the rising sign that is going to notice this transit very consciously, because thoughts are accelerating at like an incredible pace. You might like genuinely feel like your brain is downloading new information faster than you can process it. Ideas can arrive like lightning bolts. Conversations can become a very big catalyst in your life. And yeah, one sentence from someone else or from yourself could like alter the direction of your life. So this is like actually one of the most stimulating transits that you're like experiencing in years. And this is like trying to liberate you and free you and make you aware of like new ways of thinking. And this is like an ignition switch, you guys. Old beliefs, old mental patterns are breaking apart. It's in order for you to break free, and maybe suddenly you question everything that you've believed, or how you communicating, the stories that you have been telling yourself for years. And of course, Mars gives you the courage, while Uranus gives you a lot of originality. Of course, technology and communication are a big one. Back up your files, double check emails, be patient with technology. Mercury retrograde is in your fourth house of family, and definitely there can be some back and forth between a sibling. You might have shocking news from a sibling. This is definitely like about shocking conversations or breakthroughs with speaking your truth. Be careful in your local environment, because third house rules over like when you go like shopping or to the store or to the gas station or go to a restaurant. All of that belongs to the third house as well. That is where the unpredictable energy is like being channeled through right now. Third house is also being on the road. Like Aries, if you are pissed off, get out of the car or you're gonna end up in an accident. It's very possible here for you. So be very, very calm. Do not lash out. Do not destruct. Be careful. Also with like siblings, neighbors, there might be some tension, or there might be some surprising news that comes off of that. Also, not every disagreement that's happening around you actually deserves your attention. And this is actually a very strong signature also for rushing. Slow down, leave 5 minutes earlier, don't text while you're driving right now. Do not assume that everyone else on the road is paying attention. I want to like give you some more awareness about that. But the positive side is, if you have flashes of insight, trust it. Like there is a very big revolution happening within inside of your mind. Also, you can have mental breakthroughs, brilliant ideas, good period for working on like a podcast, on anything that's connected to writing, teaching, speaking, content creation. What else? You might buy something new, like an upgrade within technology, or like an unexpected conversation that is going to change your future path. Definitely a change involving like a sibling. That is thing. I think that that will be the most profound one, and especially if you have a sibling one older than you, it trines Pluto in the 11th. It might be coming off of someone older than you. There can also be like, if you are gonna travel, then there might be some disruptions within that. So keep that in mind. Other than that, I think I've noticed or said the most important things. Yeah, just be careful how you speak. I know you're quite blunt and outspoken, and you tell the truth and deliver it quite in a fast pace. But here it might be very like rebellious energy, so be careful. I'm an Aries sun sign, and I had to like really temper myself down with this one. So I hope you guys succeed in that as well. Good luck, my dear Aries, and let me know what's happening because it's a big one for you. It's your chart ruler Mars in the third house. Do not fight with siblings, it's not worth it. Inject this into like something that benefits you, and there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of business and a lot of people that are going to be dropping into your inbox. Also no, take some time before you reply because you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, and maybe you need to do things double or twice or even multiple times, and then you can like start texting in a very frustrated kind of way. Take a breath, take a moment. Not every message, like, you do not need to be available every day for everyone. It's impossible. And if you're going to try to do that, then that is going to lead to conflicts or an accident because you're going to feel overstimulated. Do breath work, go hiking, biking. That is going to like help you ground. And listen to podcasts. If you do want to like overstimulate your brain, make sure it's like with the right information. Do not tap into the drama. Jupiter entered into your fifth house. Make some time for fun. Can also be about romance. So yeah, let me know how that's going for you. Good luck, Aries. You have Taurus and Moon rising. You're gonna have this Mars Uranus conjunction within your second house of finances. The second house is about like money that you work for yourself, what you possess, or how that ties back to your self-worth, how it like shapes your values. It's like about your personal resources. Very big financial activation for you, my dear Taurus. And I know you kind of are very fond about finances and stability, but maybe there's a little bit of a shakeup here. Mars can like light a desire or a fire to earn more, and Uranus can awaken you to find like deeper need for like liberation and independence. So maybe suddenly you realize that you no longer want to depend on an old financial structure or an old job or an old income stream, or like how you look at money. There's like a very big shift that's happening within that. Some of you are going to break free, others of you want more flexibility or more control over your own resources, but it's also like wanting to increase your income by either launching a side hustle or maybe monetize some kind of a skill or organize your finances in a better way. And you might also have like a lightning strike or like insights, and you might even like receive a sudden idea about how you can make money in a different kind of way. Of course, Gemini rules over communication, trade, marketing, writing, teaching, sales, technology, online platforms. So your income might be like made through how you use your voice or your knowledge or sharing ideas, or it can be connected to digital work, digital nomad, just working remotely from your like computer. Jupiter entered your fourth house about protection, expansion from inside of the home. Sixth house, your second house and income. Trine Pluto in the 10th house. Wow, if you want to like become self-employed or take a chance at like monetizing your skills from inside of the home, that can definitely be a very big breakthrough for you, my dear Taurus. So of course it's also about self-worth. Are you like undervaluing your gifts, and are you getting like some awakening in it, within that? Do you fear a little bit about becoming financially free? Are you going to take some risks or not? There is like a transit here that tries to wake you up and gives you like some powerful realizations here that your skills are way more valuable than your thought. And if you want to become self-employed, maybe now it would be a good time to try that. It can be a breakthrough. So of course, also there can be unexpected expenses. I'm not gonna like spiritually bypass you, Taurus. So expenses that can be connected to new technology or your means of transportation for how you create an income. So maybe your business car or anything in regards to that can come up, or a new tool like a computer, or a new like this device, anything that you like use for your job, or anything you use to create your income as well. So yeah, avoid impulsive spending, and also do not like panic buy, panic sell. Spend, but in a strategic, smart kind of way. You might be investing in something like a new AI tool, or a software, or a camera, a phone, a platform, something that is like just like upgrading your means or ways of how you create an income. So anything that feels stagnant around your finances, it's going to become way harder to tolerate that, and maybe you need to like really shift something up in that. And yeah, there can be some tension around some payments, or some shared expectations, or like, yeah, there can be some even delays with money, or a change within an agreement. Do not react explosively if something were to come up, or if something financially becomes frustrating, because a temporary disruption now does not need to mean like a permanent crisis. No, it's like temporary moment in time. But still, Uranus stays in your second house, so you're learning how to create a lot of security through the disruption and the change. And you need to be more flexible and use your intelligence and your adaptability to be able to navigate the Uranus in your second house. So yeah, maybe like you have a very big bright new idea, and your financial revolution can begin with like one new idea that you're implementing. So yeah, freelance opportunities can also be part of the deal here, and that can also bring like a big shift within your self-worth. So yeah, definitely a very big desire for more financial independence, you guys. So good luck, Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Geminis, you are the stars of today's show. Let me know how you are doing. I've like honestly got a lot of messages from my Gemini friends, and they're not doing too well. The friends I've like, the friends that have been dropping into my DMs, they're like, I'm like tripping over this while I'm holding that, and while I'm tripping, I'm spilling this, and then I'm tripping again over the things that I've been spilling, and I'm like, yeah, just like, do not climb a ladder, do not do anything risky, try to just remain calm. And they're like, what do you mean remain calm? I'm like at the verge of explosion. So yeah, this is the energy. Know that it is normal right now. Mars and Uranus in your first house of identity. It's your personality, your appearance, your health, your direction in life. So something about you is changing, and you're becoming way more rebellious, and there is a lot of restlessness energy in the sky. And of course, Mars acts like a very big ignition switch, and there is something new that is trying to be emerging. Like some there is, you guys are gonna have so much plot twists and curveballs coming in, but it actually wants to set you free and liberate you from a lot of stuff. So your priorities are changing, your goals, your interests, your appearance, all of that is like changing, and you can feel an overwhelming desire to like reinvent yourself. You might cut your hair, although I would not advise that. With the Mercury retrograde in a second, you're not going to be happy. Some of you want to like change something within your wardrobe. Maybe some of you are going to dress very feisty, very like eccentric, very like out of the ordinary. That can also be a way of channeling this energy through you. But I would actually start exercising to channel the hot burnt energy of Mars. And you can even launch a new business, or introduce yourself in like a new way that feels more authentic. And this can also be about like, it's like a part of your confidence is growing through like authenticity and realness rather than like external approval of other people. You do not like give a single shit anymore. You do not care. You're just like, this is me, this is how I feel. And if you do not like it, well, then you can like scoot out. That can definitely be the energy, but do not try to be too big of a rebel. You can be your original self, but normally you could feel like, are people gonna like me? And now you're like, nope, I do not care. This is how I am, and it's like take it or leave it. So people are definitely gonna notice that you're a little bit more bold and outspoken, and a little bit more of tapping into a shocking nature. But Gemini, of course, you are the sign that is most implicated by the accident prone energy. So, although it can be very magnetic and other people are going to notice that something has changed within you, although they cannot fully explain it, you can attract like more unusual friendships or exciting opportunities, and people are like gonna change the way how they think about you because your energy becomes so electric and there's like an aura of unpredictability around you, and it can be exciting. People might also not know what to expect from you because it's so unpredictable, and with Mars here, this becomes like the moment where impatience is definitely gonna get like the better of you. And I think a lot of Geminis are gonna throw the towel into the ring. Are they gonna rage quit the job, the relationship, something else? Be careful so that the energy does not implode like inside of you. That you do not feel like you're gonna like murder someone unexpectedly with this energy. I'm like dramatizing it a little bit, but you can definitely be like thinking like, "Ugh." So yeah, know that it's normal right now, and sometimes there can be like a dramatic change overnight. Sometimes that's exactly what you need, but it's worth like sleeping a little bit on it before you act on a sudden impulsive decision. Freedom doesn't require you to burn everything down, so be a little bit more easy on yourself and on other people. And if you feel like, "Ooh, my mind is on fire," you need to run, walk, bike, hike. Do not go racing in your car. No, that's like the only thing you can definitely not do under this energy. Listen to your body. Do not constantly like override your own nervous system. And if you're like been running or pumping on adrenaline, your nervous system is eventually going to break down. This can be the case. And if you do not feel that, start a new fitness routine, go to the gym, learn a new skill, challenge yourself in a physical kind of way, because Mars loves movement and Gemini wants variety. So new activities, maybe that you've never considered before. Just be mindful of rushing, you guys, because sometimes this definitely can make people move faster than their like body or attention span is being able to like keep up. So slow down if you do like sports, and then definitely if you like drive, do not like overdo it here. Anything that requires precision, take a couple of extra breaths, you guys. But this can in the end lead towards like a very big reinvention and a very big powerful motivation to start something new. But you need to really avoid impulsive decisions and definitely rushing. Good luck, Gemini. We have Gemini's and Mercury retrograde. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of water. I'm going too fast, and I was gonna read Gemini twice while it's Cancer now. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have the Mars Uranus in your 12th house, which is less externally visible than for the other signs, because the 12th house, that is the house of the subconscious mind, what's happening behind the scenes, rules over your dreams, spirituality, your intuition. Can also be about healing, wanting more solitude, can also be about hidden enemies. You need to be a little bit more careful about hidden enemies because they can like wreak some havoc here right now. 12th house can also be about endings, but definitely everything that is happening without you being aware of it. It's like your house of blind spots and also self-sabotaging behavior. You can have a spiritual breakthrough in certain bad habits, and you're going to be able to sever ties in a very unexpected, fast kind of way with Uranus and Mars combined in your 12th. that is definitely positive energy for you to really break free from certain blind spots that are actually keeping you stuck or in like a mode of self-sabotage. Look at your mental health. If you need more rest, unwind, Mars in the 12th house can definitely trigger some anxiety and definitely also like nightmares. Your sleeping patterns are found within the 12th house. So Uranus is already like triggering that. And then Mars can, yeah, be a lot of activity within dreams, but it can also be about like, yeah, nightmares and not feeling well rested whenever you wake up. So your big revolution, it begins within, and something deep inside of your psyche, it is awakening, and it's preparing you for an entire new chapter. But that is only going to happen when Mars crosses over your ascendant within 6 weeks of time. So yeah, you're shedding old skin. Look at long-standing fears. You can really get rid of them right now. Look at your unconscious habits, your emotional patterns, everything that you've been carrying is suddenly going to rise to the surface to be released, and you're going to be able to do that. It's very positive energy, you guys. It can also be about the hospital, but because the 12th house deals with places of seclusion and where we are in isolation. 12th house rules over jails, hospitals, mental asylums, uh, yeah, temples, monasteries, churches, spiritual places like stone circles, yeah, all of that, like mystical places. If you are having a little bit of a fear that you're going to end up in the hospital, then sometimes it will be clear to just like go praying in church or doing meditation within like a center, or yeah, whatever you believe in or whatever you feel good by. Maybe you already do that like proactively. That is going to help you heal. It is the house of healing as well. Mars is definitely going to shine a very big spotlight in some corners of your psyche which are hidden to you. And Uranus is like breaking up doors that you've kept like locked away for far too long, maybe even years. So, yeah, you're gonna have more insight, more awareness, Uranus, about where you are sabotaging yourself. So this is a very intuitive transit. Dreams might become so vivid, synchronicities might increase, and tap more into meditation, therapy, spiritual studies, spend more time in nature and alone. Definitely do not underestimate the power of solitude during this period, because you're a Cancer and it's happening in the 12th house, which is a water house normally, but you have Gemini on that cusp. But still, meditating near water is going to help you a lot. Spending time at sea is going to help you a lot to get rid of the restlessness energy. And um, know that some of the greatest breakthroughs here won't happen in big crowded rooms. No, they're gonna happen in moments of quiet reflection where your intuition is finally like having enough space to speak to you. So create that space. 12th is like the house of the shadow also, where we sometimes reject stuff of ourselves, where we maybe hide some things or forgot some things. And yeah, the parts there, they unfortunately do not stay buried forever, or they do not remain hidden forever. This is going to illuminate that, becoming more whole, becoming more aware of how you distract some of your own opportunities. So um, the body is also going to speak to you because it opposes the 6th house of physical health. Sometimes, just like the unconscious mind refuses to listen. So, if you've been pushing yourself too hard, then now your nervous system needs some more rest. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do, which belongs to the 6th house, is actually tapping into rest and meditation and just surrender. And healing and resting is actually also a form of action. So, yeah, secrets can also be illuminated here. Trust your intuition. If something is off, then you're probably right. And this is definitely a profound transit for psychological and spiritual awakening, my dear Cancer. So, good luck. You have Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. All right, my dear Leo, you're going to have the Mars Uranus conjunction in your 11th house. It's a very social house. It's the house of friendships and communities that you're part of. can be great for going to networking events or to have like a viral moment on social media. Think about also your long-term goals for the future and how that can sometimes be tied to certain organizations, and they can be a source of breakthrough for you. And this is definitely adding a lot of passionate electricity into like the future that you're trying to build. It's one of the most exciting houses in astrology because it can represent like the dreams that haven't fully manifested yet. And Uranus is at home in the 11th house, so it works very, very strong here for you guys. Mars is then gonna arrive to create a lot of momentum, and it's like it's gonna completely reinvent your vision for the future. And you might suddenly feel that you're thinking much bigger than before, and goals that like certain goals that might seem like impossible or unachievable, now maybe you're gonna realize like, okay, there is a door opening and maybe I'm gonna be able to fulfill that certain goal in my life. It can be opened up through friendships, especially, but this is about getting out of your comfort zone. And yeah, tap into different groups of people or communities. This can be like a very big breakthrough moment, and your tribe is actually changing because your entire frequency is changing. You guys, you get a frequency upgrade here with Uranus in the 11th. So do not be surprised if a certain friendship naturally is gonna like be released from your life, while at the very same time there can be a curveball of like new exciting connections appearing almost out of the blue. So yeah, Uranus cuts, and like Mars Uranus, they cut, remove things that actually no longer resonate. So there's room and space for something new to get introduced to you, new people, new groups of people, like collaboration, network, conferences, communities, podcasts, social media. Perfect for like expanding your audience. Be careful with how you communicate certain stuff because there might be some conflict with how you say certain stuff. Overall, can be good for gaining more momentum, gaining more traction. Maybe people are gonna rage on your comments or on the things that you're saying. It's also engagement. So just be sure that you are not too outspoken. Definitely can be a very big blissful period for you, Leo. Jupiter also entered your rising sign or your sign now. So yeah, there's a very big expansive protectionate energy, and Jupiter is going to try to give you all of the beneficial, rewarding, positive things in life. But first, Jupiter needs to pass through the opposition with Pluto. So I'm not going to go too overboard on that right now, because otherwise a lot of Leos are going to be a bit disappointed by the end of July whenever Jupiter opposes Pluto. So the goodies are going to be more for August into than the entire next year. So you're gonna get introduced to someone new, something new. New people can feel like an exciting new energy that they're bringing in your life, or maybe you want to get out of your shell and connect with more people around you. And of course, the 11th and Uranus is also technology and the internet. And of course, the 11th is like networks and invisible networks. So it can dramatically like increase your online visibility. Maybe there are going to be some fights, and maybe you're going to need to intervene and like stop certain things, or like, yeah, maybe there's like a lot of passionate energy within your online sphere or within your social sphere. But it's a good time to launch a project, to grow an audience, to experiment with like innovative ways of reaching new people. And Uranus teaches that not every group deserves your energy, and not every opinion deserves your attention. So choose quality over quantity. Authentic connections are worth often way more than 1,000 of superficial followers, and you're definitely gonna notice that as well. There can also be rewards of your career, because the 11th house is like the house of financial windfall that happens from all the work that you've been putting in into your career or your vocation or what you're being known for. So say yes to networking. If you say yes to networking, if it's like connected to like a professional network, then there are going to be like unexpected opportunities opening up. You can have like referrals or like influential people who are going to recognize your talents as well. So yeah, um there's like an upgrade or like a reboot of your future. So this is actually very powerful, my dear Leo. So yeah, if there are new friendships entering, be open to it, be open to change, and they're gonna help you succeed in some kind of long-term goal. So good luck, Leo. We have Virgo Sun, Moon, or Rising, my dear Virgo. You are going to have the Mars Uranus conjunction in your 10th house. Yeah, I'm smiling because this is gonna be a big one. It is in an angular house. It is at the top of the chart. It is squaring you by sign. Yeah, this is gonna have an implication on you and your identity, your household, your relationships or marriage, and also especially your career and what you do and what you're being known for. So, 10th house, reputation, public image can be about breakthrough in success and leadership, becoming more of your own authority, a change in your life direction. It is the highest point of the birth chart, you guys. This is the place where you're being seen by the world. Something significant is going to change within your professional life. It can be a promotion or a new role, stepping up your game, breaking free. Maybe you get fired and it's going to be one big party. You're going to be liberated from that if that were the case. Do not freak out, Virgo. I know you like to keep control. I know you like to have your ducks in a row. But this one can definitely set you free from either a boss, maybe your boss changes, or maybe your colleagues are rage quitting and now you need to like step it up. That is also a possibility here. But definitely, if you want to launch your own business and like completely redefine your career path, then now is the time, honestly. There can be like a big breakthrough after like a period of dissatisfaction, and maybe you have been following someone else's definition of success rather than your own, and now Virgo wants to be protective, wants to be useful, but useful to who? And think about that, because are you actually building something that excites you? Are you tapping into your own unique, authentic qualities, or are you simply looking for like looking responsible on paper? You need to break free from that, from those limiting beliefs, from the conditioning that you only receive love if you work hard and be useful for other people. And that is also what is trying to like liberate you from that here. So yeah, your originality, Uranus, becomes right now your greatest professional asset. So if you've been hiding all of your unconventional ideas because you're worried about what other people might think of you, then it's definitely encouraging you to show it and do not be afraid to show it. And with the Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, there is definitely also very much stuff connected from like if you connect with professional networks or even friendships from the past or people from the past, then they can give you professional opportunities. So watch for that, Virgo. It's going to be important. But this is definitely going to bring a lot of unexpected job offers. You can change entire career fields. You can have a promotion, a resignation, an opportunity to embody more of a leadership position, or there can simply be restructurings going on within your company, or maybe they're all possible manifestations. So some of you are going to want to break free and start your own business, work independently, become like a remote worker, a digital nomad. All of that is possible here. But there is definitely a very big change coming. And because it's in Gemini, you're like the sign that wears multiple hats within their profession. Like I'm also Virgo rising, and I am a content creator, an astrologer, I'm an accountant. I like everything. Like you need to be like a jack of all trades. That is very like applicable for Virgo risings, and a lot of you are probably gonna have more than one job. And Gemini, that is like teaching, writing, consulting, public speaking, being in the media. Yeah, like I'm also like a media channel, or like part of a very beautiful media channel that gives you like the astrological weather. I'm using technology to do that, Gemini. I market myself, and I educate people with what I do. So like That is like all the Gemini themes combined here. And now there's more freedom, more awakening, and more passion and energy being injected into that. So also know that people are gonna like, if your career here involves sharing knowledge, Gemini, then I will not be surprised that your visibility is going to increase here. And it's a seed that is getting planted for the next 2 years, you guys. And people are definitely going to recognize your expertise in new ways and are going to ask or come up to you for advice. The change might also like involve, like I already said, a boss, a manager, some kind of authority figure. There might be something with your father, you guys, something unexpectedly that can be a little bit shocking as well. But all of these individuals can actually also open up doors for you in an unexpected way. And if one professional door closes, then just like trust that another one is opening, you guys. And perfection is not necessary. Let go of perfection. The South Node is about to leave your sign. You do not need to be perfect to be able to have progress in your career. You're gonna become like magnetic for your professional like presence, or how you like, yeah, assert yourself in a professional kind of way. So yeah, this can be a major career breakthrough, Virgo. Professional reinvention, public visibility is increasing. So yeah, enjoy that, my dear Virgo. Good luck, and let me know what's happening. And be careful with like rushing or having to rush for your career, because then you can like hurt yourself. And also be careful with certain things, how you like communicate that in a public kind of way, because Mars could also indicate a bit of conflict. Be careful about how you go off at your boss. Good luck, Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. My God, Libra, you're going to have it in a fellow air sign. Very positive for you. And it's happening in the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of like education, philosophy, your vision, your belief system. Very spiritual house, can be connected to foreign countries, good for publishing, marketing. If you're in a court case, law and legality falls under the ninth. There can be a breakthrough, but there can definitely be a very big breakthrough or increased awareness if you go traveling. Your belief system is getting like a reboot. So how do you make sense of life? That is the ninth house, and it can be a very prosperous, protectionate. It's like a house of good fortune, and also the fifth. But the ninth is like also protection. It's very beautiful, the ninth house. So it can also be about like tapping into higher wisdom and having a breakthrough within what you always believed. And it can also be about like freeing yourself and cutting yourself loose from certain religious patterns that are actually keeping you small in some kind of way. So this is here, and it's arriving to actually expand your perspective, you guys. It's not about like simply learning new information. It's actually about looking at that information and like seeing it through like an entirely new lens or new eyes, looking at the world with new eyes. So maybe if you need to let go of certain beliefs that you've held for years that are no longer resonating, because your worldview is evolving. Maybe you're going to question your career path and also how your spiritual beliefs implicate that, or look at your political opinions and how that is also shaping certain things in your life. And maybe you need to change something or cut yourself free from certain political opinions as well. Maybe you're going to have a spark of insight. Maybe you're going to have some truth bombs being dropped, because Uranus doesn't like ask you to abandon all your beliefs, but he asks you to like examine if they like still reflect your inner truth and what you see happening outside. And sometimes growth often starts when we are willing to admit that we had it wrong or that we do not have all the answers. So very cool transit for like expanding your horizons, exploration, education, study astrology, philosophy, psychology, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, or other. There can be like a new completely like a completely new topic that fascinates you, and your curiosity, Gemini, is going to become your greatest teacher, the ninth house, and there's a lot of energy injected in that. Maybe you bump into a guru or a spiritual teacher that can help you progress also in life. can definitely be something or something that you look up to that is going to come into your life that is going to help you progress. That can happen in foreign countries. There can be international connections that are going to be important. Long distance travel belongs to the ninth house. Some of you are going to have an opportunity to relocate, or like one journey could like completely change your perspective on life. I remember it so well. I had transits through my ninth house when I traveled to Senegal 2 years ago. It completely like shifted my perspective, and I got home with like a completely new set of eyes. And it has definitely has a ripple effect even until this day. So yeah, it can be very helpful to connect with people from a different cultural background than your own, to help you rewire certain conditions and like patterns of beliefs. Also, your soul wants experience, and not simply just like believe the words Gemini of others. You also need to like go through the experience. So yeah, align your actions with your highest truths. If something has been out of alignment, there's going to be a shift in that. So yeah, this is a very beautiful spiritual awakening, can be a very big breakthrough. Also within like unexpected legal or academic developments, and like also by that new philosophies that are going to reshape your future. So good luck, Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. All right, my dear Scorpio, you're going to have the Mars Uranus conjunction in your 8th. And of course, the 8th is traditionally connected to you because it is the Scorpio house and you are Scorpio rising. Pretty intense stuff because Mars is your ancient ruler. So bam, 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 Scorpio rising, Mars chart ruler in the 8th house of Scorpio. I know it happens in Gemini, but very strong. And then on top of that, it's trining your other modern day ruler, Pluto. Wow, this is going to be a very big one for Scorpio, you guys. The 8th house is transformation, shared finances, intimacy, psychology, the like emotional, sexual, energetic, financial entanglements that you share with other people. It's a deeper level here, you guys, in the 8th, and it can also be connected to investments, inheritances, taxes, debt, rebirth, secrets. This is not like superficial. It's a very deep soul level transformation that is taking place here, you guys. And it's going to strip away everything that is no longer applicable to you. Excuse me. Mars accelerates the process here, and Uranus makes it like happen in very unexpected, shocking kind of way. Like honestly, you guys are going to have a major plot twist, a major shakeup, maybe major liberating aspect. Look at what your partner is doing with your shared resources. There can be a loss of money, there can be a breakthrough, but Mars can bring up like when it goes to the 8th house, it can bring up old fears. It can bring up old like things that are dormant within the depths of your soul. Fear of loss, fear of vulnerability, fear of trusting other people, fear of letting go. Now, luckily, it's all well aspected, but still, Mars is in the 8th house. So I know you Scorpios are way better at dealing with this freaking energy than others, but yeah, definitely you can have a lightning strike. You can have like an insight or a secret, or someone is going to drop their walls and be vulnerable to you, and it can give you fear, honestly. But the energy here wants to empower you because you need to like reclaim your power here, and you have the ability to do that. So yeah, you naturally understand transformation and reclaiming power most better, like way better than most signs. And um you cannot resist the change. It's gonna touch something deeply personal and gonna have a rebirth, you guys. And the 8th is also about all the things you share with the partner that is like connected to finances, like mortgages, loans, taxes, insurance, inheritance, investments, everything that is connected to like money from a partner or some kind of institution. So there's going to be like unexpected financial developments. Maybe your partner is having a very big breakthrough within their finances, so it's like very good for you. Some of you are going to receive an inheritance and are going to be able to pay off all debts. You might restructure all of your investments, or maybe you want to renegotiate financial agreements. There can be some conflict with a partner over shared finances if you like tend to ontdekken. How you say ontdekken in English? How do you? Oh, you're gonna like you have the ability to find something out, and that can ruffle some feathers here, and maybe that is gonna make you realize like, okay, I need to take greater control of my own long-term financial strategy, and maybe I need to be careful for the loss of other people. So yeah, with Gemini, you need to be transparent. You need to have a communication about it. You need to read the contracts carefully. Do not sign anything important right now. You have Mercury retrograde in the ninth house. Yeah, if it's like connected to like when you live abroad, I would be a little bit more careful with that energy. Also, if it's connected to people from a different cultural background than yourself, but definitely stay informed rather than like reactive. And because it also rules over intimacy, you're gonna need to be you're gonna need to be honest about your emotional needs. What are you afraid of? What kind of vulnerability are you willing to share? Yeah, but this is definitely trying to alchemize something. It's beautiful. Old emotional baggage can be released, but first something might get re-triggered so that some fears come up, and then you're becoming aware of them, Uranus, and then you can cut, sever, loose, or like cut you free from certain bonds or even energetic entanglements that are actually siphoning on your energy. Be careful for like energetic vampires, and if you feel that, you can break free from that. So yeah, this is deep psychological healing work that is wanting you to lead towards like greater intimacy and honesty. So release those long held fears, and you're going to be benefited by that. Good luck, Scorpio. We've got Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. My dear Sagittarius, you have it in your opposing sign. Wow, this is a big one for you as well. So Mars, Uranus in the seventh. The seventh is the house of marriage. So all relationships, whether that's business, personal, clients, contracts, and also open enemies, they all fall in the seventh house. So yeah, this is like a very dynamic relationship transit. The seventh house is not only about like long-term commitment and romance, it's actually ruling over every significant one-on-one relationship in your life. And some people are more attached to their enemy than to their lover. That is also why open enemies fall in the seventh house. Be careful if someone just like comes on very strongly to you. You might need to just like turn your back and walk away, because it's not going to be worth the fight, you guys. Now, luckily, that will only be for some of you Sages, but yeah, some people are gonna like suddenly enter your life just as they like unexpectedly other people can leave it. So Mars brings movement, Uranus brings a lot of surprises, and relationships are like the catalyst for growth right now. And they're pushing you out of your comfort zone, but it can be a little bit uncomfortable. Now, because it's in your opposing sign, it's affecting you, your identity. Have you been like too compromising to others? Have you been avoiding difficult topics or conversations, Gemini, to keep the peace and harmony? Mars is gonna want you to speak honestly, or other people, and like it can also like manifest in your partner's life or your business partner's life. They can become a little bit more abrasive and direct and like shocking with their like words to you. So yeah, it can be about authenticity, but if you've been like repressing your own needs, then this can be like a pressure cooker finally seeing a release, and it can be very incredibly liberating if you approach it in a very conscious kind of way. So this is a very strong signature, and especially for like female sages to meet a male unexpectedly. Overall, it's about like meeting someone out of the blue, and it's not gonna be your usual kind of type. Not at all. Uranus is about everything that's eccentric. They can be from another country, or have a very eccentric profession, or another culture, or just like very like not your usual kind of type. And that is definitely going to be such a big catalyst for growth, you guys. Can feel very exciting, and if you are in a relationship, then your partner can have like a very big breakthrough, and that is adding a lot of energy and passion within the communication between you guys. But when Mars enters the seventh and you are in a relationship, and it can also definitely stir some frustration with one another. Sometimes I cannot hear my partner breathe whenever Mars is going through my fourth or my seventh. But of course, my Mars is my chart ruler, my planetary ruler as an Aries. So yeah, you can definitely notice some more frequent battles, some like quarrels being triggered. Healthy relationships can grow much stronger, but if there's like stagnation, and the couple is like unwilling to grow together or to evolve, then there is going to be some wandering eyes for sure. Try something new together to keep the relationship alive. Travel, share a project, do something combined together, inject your energy into something together. And what has been swept under the rug is going to come to the surface. And this could also be like a professional business partnership that gets established. That can also be the case here. Of course, Jupiter, your ruler, just entered into the ninth house, offering a lot of luck, abundance, prosperity, being like saved when things go south. So you're gonna have a pretty awesome year. So yeah, other people, seventh house, they have the ability to either inspire you or bring up some frustrations. So we're gonna have to see if it makes good or bad aspects in your chart, and also know like that the right people are not gonna like limit your freedom. They're actually gonna expand it, and that is gonna definitely give you all the information that you need for the next couple of days. So expect the unexpected, my dear Sag. Have a good one. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, my dear Cappies. You're gonna have the Sun Uranus conjunction in your sixth house. That is the house of work, and you guys are the sign of work. So it's also like daily routines, health, employees, productivity, service, lifestyle, and you are like the sign of authority. And you like to have your ducks in a row, and you are so well presented, well preserved, have so much stability. Now Uranus can shake some things up. So, because yeah, the sixth house is your house of like employees and productivity. If you're like a boss or a business owner, which I know a lot of you guys are, then there can be some unexpected things happening that are going to be connected to that. Maybe some of your employees is going to quit very unexpectedly, and you're going to have more work. That is possible here, and it's going to be the case for some cappies for sure. So your daily habits from the sixth house, they like determine the future, Uranus, and you're becoming more aware of that. And Mars is going to energize this part of your life, and like he's like bringing an energy into this part of the chart, and he's saying like, is there like a smarter way to live and to work? But definitely unexpected like major changes within your work environment. The sixth house is like our desk and the colleagues that are surrounding our desk. And if you're like sitting at like an island, or like, how do you say it in English? It's like a desk with multiple people. And in Dutch, they call it a work island. Oh my God, that was like one of the most worst times of my entire life, sitting at a desk with 5 other females. When I look at this transit, I'm getting like PTSD from back in the day. But if there are some quarrels amongst colleagues, then you can break away from this. But it can also be like an unexpected burnout. Maybe you've just like kind of had it with certain dynamics at your job, man. And this is definitely about unexpected new projects at work, new deadlines. Be careful for burnout, be careful for overdoing it. There can be a new colleague, there can be someone falling away, that is then changing your responsibilities. Remote working is gonna start to sound very like attractive to you. And there's like, there can also be like technological upgrades, or like an entire new way or new system or new software on how to do your job. Maybe you're gonna feel a little bit frustrated because, oh my God, once you get like a software, when you've got like that figured out, then yeah, suddenly they come with a new software, and it can be like over and over again, and like this technology should be making our lives more easy, but honestly I do not always agree. Like these like upgrades and like things improving, and then you need to like go looking in the software program where that like same button is from back in the day that was just like at the right bottom of your screen, and it can feel a little bit frustrating. So yeah, you guys, I feel you. I hate that freaking thing if that happens. So yeah, Uranus loves like innovation, and it wants like new efficiency through innovation, and there can be like yeah new AI means or tools, automation, software upgrades, communication tools might like definitely transform something within the job. So break free from your daily routine that is no longer adding like wellness into your life. Honestly, I know you like discipline, but are your routines like supporting your life, or are they like simply habits that you've stopped questioning? You're gonna get more insights about that. Sixth house is also, of course, your physical well-being, and Gemini, it rules over your lungs, shoulders, arms, hands, and your nervous system. Mars can increase your vitality, but it can also increase inflammation, and it can also increase your cortisol and adrenaline. Your Uranus stimulates the nervous system. There is a tendency towards like mental overstimulation and too much busyness, that leading towards burnout. So, on the positive side, it could bring you a breakthrough in like a new fitness program, or improving your nutrition, or optimizing your sleep, or practicing breath work and reducing all of the unnecessary stress. Breaking free from stress. That is how you should be tapping into this transit. Mars is going to help you Mars is going to give you the motivation, and Uranus is going to help you with like an alternative approach and seeing things like in a new light, or like a different like aspect or approach you've like never considered before. Do not overwork yourself. Your nervous system is disagreeing with your Capricorn energy right now. So yeah, if there's some restructuring, if there is a firing at the job, trust that the restructuring or the firing is actually creating space for something better to emerge. Do not fight that. You're going to be released from something. So good luck, Capricorn. We have Aquarius and Moon rising. You're gonna have this conjunction of Mars and your chart ruler Uranus in your fifth house of fun, trining Pluto in your sign. Guys, this is actually good news. Fifth house is the house of creativity, romance, children, how you express yourself. It's like the house of putting yourself on stage. It's about passion. Can be the house of entrepreneurship as well. All the things that make your heart sing, all the things that make your life worth living. So this is like a creative explosion. There can be a very big breakthrough in your entrepreneurial activities. So this is like very electric. New ideas are arriving out of nowhere. You might feel so inspired to perform, create, teach, write, paint, build something, design something, do some pottery classes, make a child. That is also the biggest form of creation. Be careful, you can have unexpected pregnancies here. Mars is like spreading the seeds. It's like the male figure that is like being very fertile towards Uranus, and Uranus is like, oh, I unexpectedly let the seed enter. Like, here's like a little surprise for you. That is like also the energy that I'm seeing here. So yeah, it is like a very strong transit to tap into your creative genius, like, and letting the creative juices flow in every kind of way, if you know what I mean. So what makes your heart feel come alive, and do the things that genuinely excite you, because life is so busy with responsibilities, and Uranus has no patience for that at all. It wants you to reconnect with your inner child, with the things that you used to love when you were little. He's creating and injecting Mars a lot of energy into your curiousness, your playfulness. So do not like wait for permission to have fun. um yeah, you can express yourself very boldly. Your chart ruler Uranus through writing, teaching, podcasting, social media, filmmaking, music, photography, digital art, content creation. All of that is like getting a very big boost because Mars rules over your third house. So words are gonna fly out your mouth. It's gonna be unreal, Aquarius, and you're already so eccentric and so like original and funny, and oh my god, I'm gonna have like a good time with my Aquariuses in the next couple of days. I know for sure, for sure, for sure. Your uniqueness, that is what people are remembering about you. And the fifth house, it rules over romance, so can be some unexpected encounters. There is like more playfulness, more spontaneity, more adventure. Definitely like the unexpected encounter might be happening through technology, through social media, through going to a course that you enjoy, learning new skills. Travel might also, but it's less likely here, I think. Yeah, local travel, like short distance travel, that can also bring like more fun into your life. So this wants to like boost your playfulness. So yeah, fifth house, it also rules over children, of course. Children, oh my god, if you have children, buckle up, buttercup, because there's gonna be quite some rebellious energy that is gonna come off of them. Oh my god, I'm laughing because the word no, it is gonna be said multiple times a day. You're gonna hear it a lot from your children, and you are gonna have to say it a lot towards them as well if they're still like more little, of course. If you have children who are more grown up and older, then they can have a very big breakthrough. Maybe you can even become a grandparent, and maybe your one of your kids is going to tell you like, okay, I have an unexpected pregnancy, do you want to help me? That can definitely be the case. But because this energy also sextiles towards Jupiter in your seventh house, there can definitely be an unexpected new encounter that can lead to words like long-term commitment over the next few weeks. So yeah, launch something, create something, have fun, do things that genuinely excite you. Yeah, you can have like new romantic opportunities, passion projects taking off, rediscovering your joy and your playfulness. Be careful also for like some fights with your children that can definitely also come up. Good luck, Aquarius. Have some fun. We have Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. All right, my dear Pisces, you're having this Mars Uranus conjunction in your fourth house, and it's squaring you by sign. And on the 2nd of July, the Moon will be in Pisces, squaring the conjunction as well. You are one of the signs, together with Capricorn, who has actually the biggest implications of getting hurt, and also Gemini, of course. And Virgo actually as well, but it's more career focused for Virgo. So yeah, guys, the fact that it's squaring your body, your rising sign, and the moon goes over that. If you're gonna be like lost in the clouds with your head in space, being daydreaming, not paying attention, tapping into the unseen realms where you like have a lot of talent for, then you might like be met with some shocks and surprises, because the fourth house, you guys, that deals with your home, your family, your roots, emotional security, property, your private life, the foundations upon which your entire life like rests. So it describes like your family, and especially also your mother. And this can be like a new beginning of like something happening within your home, or something shifting within your family dynamics, or something changes within your sense of emotional security. If you have been suffering from ancestral curses, then this is the transit that is going to help you to liberate from it, because Mars is like cutting loose, severing, like cutting and severing ties. Then Uranus is breaking free. Together they trine Pluto in your 12th house of the unseen realms. It's about ancestral curses, blind spots, patterns of self-sabotaging behavior, and conditioning from the family that you've inherited, that you can now let go in like a positive kind of way. This is beautiful, you guys. Like um Others of you Pisces, like, if like, I love to talk about like these invisible things because I'm having a Pisces stellium, but in a more practical, grounded kind of way for you Pisces, it could also correlate with like moving your house, renovating, redecorating unexpectedly, some curveball that comes up within your living situation or within your family. Maybe you get some news from mom that something happened, or that there's like a big shift in her life. Doesn't need to be negative, you guys, but like, the external changes are gonna like really, they often mirror all the internal processes that we need to put more attention towards. So what truly makes you safe? Because um there is like, with Uranus, some kind of shakeup, and maybe you guys are like moving a lot, and yeah, maybe that is also connected to the family patterns that have been shaping you quietly for years. And now all of that suddenly becomes very visible, and you're being able to see them and choose a different path. And that is such a big, beautiful gift of Uranus, because it doesn't simply change your circumstances. No, it changes your consciousness. And Mars now gives you the energy in that. So be very careful when you're emotional. Do not go driving too fast when you're emotional or angry and you are working out in the home, or you're fixing thing or cooking food, or like, be careful not to cut yourself. Also be careful with technological devices that can break with inside of the house. Do not charge your e-bike at night. Maybe switch off the Wi-Fi router, if especially if this aspect is like negatively aspected within your own natal birth chart. Then you need to be a little bit more careful of like the electricity wires inside of your home. Maybe they're gonna work outside and they're gonna cut an electricity line, and you're gonna be inside of the house, and you're being like liberated and freed from your electricity and your ability to switch on the light. Like, that is also a possible way of how this energy can be manifested. So, but definitely something that has remained unspoken within the family dynamics, Gemini, fourth house, is finally going to come into the open, and it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but it wants to free you. Plans might change. If you had like travel plans with family, you're going to need to be a little bit more flexible. And if you, yeah, um, the fourth house is opposing the 10th. So there is also a very big need here to rebalance your career with your home life. And you're gonna need to like healing something at home, and that is gonna have a very big ripple effect into your career. So know that the strongest buildings, they are built on a strong foundation, and then you can like show yourself to the world. So something within that is changing. So you might, yeah, the big, very big change might involve a family decision, a home, a property. Also look at, if you want to buy a new house or you suddenly need to move, be careful to check the foundations. And I mean like the soil or the ground or the land upon which the house is being built. There might be some shakeups in that for you, my dear Pisces, or maybe some unexpected surprises. But it's definitely wanting you to liberate so that you are being able to create a healthier home environment. And with the moon in your sign, you're going to be like very, very sensitive towards the Mars Uranus conjunction, especially on the 3rd and 4th of July, because it squares the moon in your sign. So be careful and do not let your emotions like cause too much confusion. Yeah, you can just have a couple of emotional days, because this is very like yang energy, and it's very masculine. And when Mars enters the 4th house, there can be a lot of frustration being found around the home or with the people that you live with together. And then the moon is in your sign, making you even more emotional, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so over it, I've had it, I'm just gonna like pack my bags and leave and move, and I'm like over this bullshit. That can definitely also happen in this kind of way. Mercury retrograde in the 5th house of romance, in the sign of Cancer, very emotional, who you live with together. Mercury rules over the 7th house. Some of you are going to break free from a partner. That is also something that I'm seeing for some of you, my Pisces. So, yeah, good luck and let me know what happens. All right, you guys, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed all of that. It's gonna be quite the yeah, earthquake. That is actually the best word that I can use right now. And I mean that in a more emotional kind of way, although we are unfortunately going to see earthquakes more around the world as well. But it's definitely also wanting to liberate you. It's about breaking free. It's about authenticity. It's about like your truth is getting fueled by Mars. It's fire. And a lot of people are going to be very outspoken, and communication is going to like be on fire. And we're going to see a lot of emotional volcano explosions. And if you are a mutable sign, then you need to breathe a little bit more. And especially also Capricorn, watch out for your health. And yeah, there's so much more that I could say, but I need to go. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're still here. That's wonderful. Thank you guys all so much for the support. I've been reading so many beautiful comments lately, and I really want to let you guys know that I read each and every one. But there's been some weird stuff going on with YouTube lately. I cannot like answer every comment. Some comments I can answer, some don't, and I do not know why. Maybe it's because I'm using certain words that are like being triggered and that the algorithm doesn't like. Maybe it's that. I'm trying to figure it out. So I have not been ignoring you, not at all. I'm just simply sometimes not being able to respond to each and every one of you. So thank you guys all so much for the love in the chat, and I'm sending you all a big hug, and just stay safe, stay calm, but also do not fear it. It is actually quite exciting energy, and if you tap into it in a very like beneficial, conscious kind of way, it can give you a lot of rewards and breakthroughs as well. So wishing you all a beautiful week ahead, and I will see you back soon for another video. Bye bye.